Hey friends, good morning. It is a Tuesday morning. It feels like Monday because my kids didn't have school yesterday. And so I keep thinking it's Monday and I keep wanting to jump onto my Monday schedule. And no, it is actually Tuesday. So welcome, good morning this Tuesday morning. While you're hopping on, give a wave, a hello, say hi where you're coming in from. I hear this group is from all over. I'm going to just throw in a little bit of Progestins Plus, one of my favorite oils to put on morning and night. And I am going to put on a little bit of joy, oil of love and happiness as I connect with you guys this morning. So my name is Lucy Bido. I'm an expert on essential oils, supplementation, oils, hormones, and supplementing for hormone health. And I was asked this morning to come on and talk a little bit about hormone health and some of my favorite products for hormone health, and I'm super excited to be here. I'm doing live from my phone, and so if you guys have a question, go ahead and throw the question in. I probably won't see it and may not be able to address it while I speak, but I'm always really good at going in afterwards and answering your questions, and I am here. I'm here for you guys. I'm here to answer your questions. Okay. So this morning, I want to talk a little bit about the science between metabolic conversions of hormones and the process of converting hormones from precursors to natural hormones in our body, and the difference between synthetic and natural supplementation and what that means for your health. This is stuff that I absolutely love. I can look at the scientific charts of how things convert in the body all day long. I find it so fascinating that our bodies are so in tune with knowing what to do with food, exercise, and how to really truly just run our bodies. Our bodies are like self-running machines. They're incredible. And when it comes to hormones, there are so many things that we can do to jack up our hormones, and there are a lot of things that we can do to supplement and to support them. So let's talk a little bit about the difference between hormones and precursors. So hormones are messengers in our body, and they start from our all of our different adrenal glands, our pituitary, which is in our brain, which tells our body what to make and where to put it and how to convert it. We also have adrenal glands. We also have these glands and our actual adrenal glands that are in our back, in our thyroid, and females in our ovaries, and men in our testes. So these are all glands in our body that work together to secrete different hormones. Now, for female hormones, a lot of times when one is messed up, they're like all messed up. They're kind of all interconnected. Who knew, right? We're like, we are, I don't want to say a machine, but our bodies work together. So if your thyroid is off, usually your progesterone is off, or if your progesterone is off, a lot of times your thyroid is off. If your adrenals are off, like literally everything will be off because they all work together. So a precursor is what these glands put out, our pituitary, our adrenal glands, and they tell our body what hormones we need and how to make them and where to put them, okay? So we have two precursors, and one is called DHEA, and that is actually short for a really, really, really long word. And then the other one is pregnenolone. And these are two precursors that these glands will put out, and they mostly are coming from our pituitary gland in our brain. And then these convert to hormones in our body. So in a woman, DHEA, if your metabolic pathways are working in sync and they're functioning correctly and they're working well, that DHEA is going to convert down into estradiol and estrogens. In the male body, those are going to convert down into testosterones. Sometimes these get switched in men and women. And then we have issues like PCOS or like female issues in men. And that's like a whole other issue. But if we're healthy and we're normal and things are working correctly, that's usually how it's going to metabolize down. Now we also have a precursor called pregnenolone. Pregnenolone, again, this is made from cholesterol. So it's made from food. So my friends who are vegans, I want you to just listen up for a second. You need to make sure you have enough cholesterol in your diet, or you're not going to have enough pregnenolone, you're not going to have enough progesterone, and all of your hormones are going to be off. And so getting adequate amounts of healthy cholesterol. Cholesterol's not evil. Your cholesterol's too high. It's actually usually more an indicator that you have too much sugar in your diet, ironically. But healthy levels of cholesterol are going to convert down to pregnenolone, which convert down to progesterone. Progesterone is our happy hormone. Okay, this is why we need progesterone. Progesterone is going to impact everything from sleep, libido, mood, and then our healthy DHEA levels that convert down to estradiol. So that's going to, well, progesterone is also going to be reproduction, but estrogens too, our reproduction, our bone health, our muscle mass, and even our brain and our memory. They're all linked to the levels of estrogens and progesterones that we have in our body. Therefore, these precursors are necessary in order to have the hormones. It's like the food we eat turns into the nutrients, right? But these hormones aren't necessarily things we eat. Like, it's not like vitamin C and vitamin B, although we can supplement with foods and herbs that help to secrete it in our bodies. But it's not quite as simple as like taking vitamin C. Like, I need more vitamin C or I need more iron, and so I'm going to eat more of the foods and take some more of those supplementation. Our hormones are a lot more complex because they're tied into like our emotions and our stress and our sleep. And so we have to make sure that all those things are really healthy for us to be functioning well. Okay, so if we have adequate levels of DHEA, adequate levels of pregnenolone, we're going to have adequate levels of estrogen and progesterone. Most women do not. Most women do not have adequate levels of progesterone. And progesterone and testosterone are like a seesaw, and they work, I don't want to say against each other, they balance each other out. That's the correct word. They balance each other out. Healthy levels of estrogen and progesterone balance each other out. And more women than not are deficient in progesterone. And when we're deficient in progesterone, we become estrogen dominant. And this is something I've been talking about in my Facebook group and on my Instagram feed. When we become estrogen dominant, that is linked to, and we have issues like really heavy bleeding, fibroids. It's linked to endometriosis. It's linked to a lot of women cancers, because progesterone is cancer protective because it balances out estrogen. So why are we so lacking in our progesterone? What can we do about it? And many women are also lacking in estrogens as well, and especially as we go through peri and menopause, we're lacking in our estrogens. So, okay, what is a woman to do? Because when we don't have adequate levels of estrogen, we feel horrible, night sweats, sweating, healthy, moody. When we don't have enough progesterone, we're dry, we're irritable, we have no libido. So we want to have adequate levels, right? So the whole medical industry has come out with synthetic hormones that can address these issues. However, there are definitely pros and cons with these synthetic hormones. So the most common synthetic hormones are birth control, which is prescribed obviously to help with family planning, but is oftentimes also overprescribed for any kind of a female ailment. Like, I have heavy periods, I have endometriosis, I'm having like massive night sweats, things like this. Okay, so while those things are horrible and we want to deal with them, and obviously no one deserves to suffer and live in that, the horribleness that is endometriosis, right? There are tools that we can utilize that are a little bit safer and more natural than using synthetic birth controls or birth control type medications. So the pros is that they can help to kind of help with our symptoms while we get them under control. But the issue with anything that is a synthetic hormone is that it really doesn't correct the imbalance that is already existing in our body. Therefore, we have an imbalance, we have a problem, we have dysfunction in our body, and we're utilizing a medication that essentially stops the symptom, but the root issue of it is still present. And therefore, if we go off birth control because we're trying to get pregnant, or if we go off to get pregnant, but then we have raging endometriosis or heavy periods, that's going to impact your fertility as well. And so that's not really helpful. When we're looking at things like going through menopause and we're dealing with issues like night sweats, or we're extremely dry, or vaginal atrophy, all things that women go through when our estrogen levels drop. And no one wants or deserves to live like that. So we can turn to synthetic hormones, but then those synthetic hormones like Premarin or synthetic estrogens, unfortunately, have extremely high rates of cancers, extremely high rates of blood clots and strokes. So you're kind of just changing one problem for another. And so this is where I have really come in to look at how to get our body into homeostasis using exercise, nutrition, and supplementations, and essential oils is a part of that for me. How to make sure that we are healthy. This has been a journey for me, and this is a journey that I help other women with as well. And I love doing it because I love taking a woman who is struggling with her hormones, with her life, and she's not feeling like she's living to her fullest, and she's dealing with all these issues, but is very nervous about the problems or the side effects that come with synthetic supplementation. The beautiful answer is there are solutions. There are solutions because there is natural supplementation, and there are natural ways to get our hormones working in sync. And this is something that I could like literally talk for 2 weeks about, but I'm going to give you kind of like the simple version today to give you guys a couple tips and tricks to walk out the door with to get started on a journey to having healthier hormones. Okay. So first of all, when our adrenals are off, everything is off. And our adrenal glands is the fight or flight. So fight or flight was like our old school caveman evolutionary reaction to danger. Danger meaning I need to run from a predator, or I need to run from this person who's not safe. It tells our body, get out. And what it does is it increases cortisol and it increases adrenaline, and that actually helps our muscles to run and to move and to escape. But in our society, the cortisol and the adrenaline that we experience is usually stress, like maybe fighting with a partner, for example, stress with work, dealing with people or fires or stress or dysfunction or things like that. But then we're not like actually running. We're not burning off that cortisol. We're not burning off that adrenaline. And it just kind of like sits in our gut, and that adrenaline and that cortisol rises. And that throws off our hormone levels, especially our progesterone levels. And here's why. Because those precursors, pregnenolone, remember I talked about this earlier. Pregnenolone is a precursor made from cholesterol that turns into progesterone, which is your libido hormone, your happy mood hormone, your help me fall asleep hormone, your my cycle is fine hormone, okay? But guess what? Pregnenolone is also a precursor for a different hormone, cortisol, the stress hormone. So when we are in chronic stress, that pregnenolone that is supposed to turn into progesterone, your body goes, you're in an emergency situation, you have to run. It actually metabolizes into a different direction, and it turns it into cortisol and adrenaline. And then we feel stressed and we don't burn it off because we're not running away. And then that tends to all sit in our center. And then we have more adipose tissue in our center and visceral fat that is gives us higher rates of like heart attacks, strokes, heart disease, all those things. And also we get bigger in the center. And I mean, no one likes that aesthetically, but health-wise, it's an issue health-wise. And then we also don't have the progesterone we need because our progesterone is basically getting eaten up by cortisol, okay? So when I talk about hormone balancing, the first thing I say is we need to look at our life. Like, are we exercising? Because if you're not exercising isn't so that you've got a thigh gap, my friends. Exercising is because you live in a world that you have stress, you have adrenaline, and you have cortisol. You do. Unless you sit by a beach all day long drinking Mai Tais and people cook all your food and you never go to work, you deal with stress on a daily basis. And so exercise is going to burn off that cortisol and that adrenaline, and therefore you will have more progesterone and you are going to feel better. It will help with your mood. It will help with your libido. Okay. And then of course our nutrition. We need to make sure that we're not eating too many synthetic sugars, because when we have too much sugars in our body, we have too much insulin, we can become insulin resistant. That impacts our thyroid, which is a part of the whole system. Everything gets thrown off, okay? So, I mean, that's the very simplified version. I can sit down with women and like identify everything with all their hormones and all their sugars, but on a very basic level, we need to make sure that we're eating fruits and vegetables, healthy lean meats, organic when possible. Healthy dairy is okay in moderation. We need that cholesterol as long as we're not drinking, like steroid hormone injected milk. Like make sure your milk is hormone free. I really encourage organic milks because of the steroids and the hormones that can be added to conventional milks are really, really not healthy, especially if you're young girls going through puberty. But healthy organic milks, fruits, vegetables, grains, lean meats. Eating that is going to help our body to have the proper nutrition to metabolize things like cholesterol down into the progesterone that we need, and it also into the estrogens that we need. So exercise, nutrition, food, healthy sleep. We have to get our REM cycles in order for our brains to clear out. As we sleep, every time we have a REM cycle, our body actually clears and cleans out our brain. And our body, we have to rest in order to move forward. And our brain needs that, just like our body needs that. And when we're cleaning out and resting our brain, it allows our brain to function better, which means we have better focus and we have a better metabolic process from the pituitary gland. Therefore, we are producing more DHEA, we are producing more pregnenolone. Therefore, we have more to metabolize down into estrogens and progesterones, and we feel better. So get your sleep, friends. Stop sleeping 6 hours a night. It's not helping you. Okay, now supplementation on top of all of this. I'm going to give you a couple of my favorite supplements that come from Young Living that help to support our progesterone levels, that help to support our estrogen levels. And this is something that I feel like anyone and everyone can do because it's mild, it's gentle, it's safe. There's no synthetic side effects like we have with the synthetic medications that I really don't recommend unless you are like in an emergency place. Okay, so one of my favorite, I call it a supplement because you supplement all the good things you're doing, but it's a serum and it's called Progessence Plus. I'm sure a lot of you already have heard of this, and if you haven't, it's going to become one of your new best friends. Progessence Plus is incredible to help to support and boost your healthy natural progesterone levels. So it does have a little bit of wild yam. It is topical, and topical is the safest way to utilize hormones in general for most women. But I put it on at night, but you can put it on during the day too. It does help with sleep a little bit at night. And the little bit of that wild yam extract and vitamin E, it helps to soak it in. It just helps to support our progesterone levels so they're not tanking too low. I think that most women over 30 honestly could be using this. And then if you are in your mid 40s or 50s, 60s or older, there is another cream. I don't have it on my desk right now, but it's called pregnenolone cream. And pregnenolone cream is a cream that also has like the wild yam, but it also has the precursors in it. It has DHEA and pregnenolone, and then it has some wild yam and the progesterone in there too. And that gives you an even stronger boost for women who are premenopausal, postmenopausal. That's something that a woman can put on topically. And it's a safe cream. It's over the counter, so it's not going to be too strong. It's not going to throw you off. It's not going to bring your period back for most people. It's going to really just help to give you that little extra bit of boost that we lose over time as we age. Okay, so one question that I've gotten before is that, well, isn't it like normal and natural and healthy for us to age and for our hormones to drop? Like why are we needing to supplement? You know, like hundreds of years ago, women went through menopause and we didn't have to supplement. That's true, yes. Also, hundreds of years ago, women died in their 40s and 50s. I want to live till I'm 80 or 90. And usually around the time women started going into menopause, and this is like pre-medicine, once women and men would go into andropause, which is like the male version of menopause, once that started happening, that's when death rates would increase because you're not as healthy. You don't have that longevity and that vibrance for life. Okay, so by supporting that, it's really in a way slowing down the aging process where we're living younger for longer. We're feeling younger, we're acting younger because we're healthy and we're vibrant and we're having the hormone levels and the nutrition that we would have when we're in our 20s and when we're in our 30s. And who doesn't want to live from 40 to 80 and feel good and feel like you're 20 or 30 instead of, living, etc. Okay, my phone just started dialing and then I think I hopped out. So that's why it's important, in my opinion, for women to supplement as they reach menopause, because lifespan, we're not dying between 40 and 50 anymore. Like, hopefully we are supporting our bodies to not have diseases, to be dying younger, and we're living longer and we're feeling great too. So Progessence Plus for women 30 and up, even younger, mid 40s, 50s and up. I love the pregnenolone cream for women. And then for women that know that as they're going into premenopause or perimenopause, and they know that their estrogen levels are dropping to a point where they're feeling, especially downstairs, your downtown water slide, I always say It's never fun to go down a water slide that's dry. Like, who wants to go down a water slide that's dry? That would just be like massive wedgie. Hello, ow. You want your downtown water slide to be juicy and lubricated, especially with intimacy and just like all the time, right? So when our estrogen levels hit a point where they've dropped so far, that's when we have a lot of dryness. We lose elasticity, and that makes intimacy a little bit more uncomfortable. And we lose lubrication, which can make intimacy uncomfortable. So I have a book full of recipes. You guys probably all know it because I think we're all friends already, but my book has tons of recipes in there, and they use essential oils and natural products that are safe for your downtown lady garden, but also boost lubrication naturally using recipes with essential oils like clary sage, like lady sclareol, amazing ingredients that help to support natural lubrication in your body. So if you know that you are having dryness, or if you're experiencing pre or menopause symptoms, my favorite everyday oil to supplement for a woman for that is lady sclareol. Lady sclareol is designed to support a woman whose natural levels are dropping. It contains a lot of clary sage, which is a natural phytoestrogen. And those phytoestrogens work in the body just like our body does, like the precursors where it's creating it. So it's not an outside synthetic medication that has these risks of like blood clots and strokes, okay? It's something that's very gentle, natural, and you can supplement with and feel very confident in that and not have to worry about those side effects, because we've not seen documented information on these kinds of side effects using safe, mild, gentle phytoestrogens like clary sage, like lady sclareol. So you can use that every single day. So my friends that want to boost your progesterone levels, grab yourself some Progestins Plus, grab yourself some pregnenolone cream. I love that stuff too. For my lady friends who are feeling dry in their downtown lady garden and want some support down there, use natural lubes that do not contain silicones, that do not contain mineral oils. Pretty much everything you buy in the store has that. So make your own lubes. You can use aloe vera base, you can use coconut base, and add your essential oils to that in a very small ratio. Lady sclareol, clary sage. I put joy in a lot of my blends. I put orange. It smells so good. The men love it. And then you're going to support your lady garden in a way that's healthy and is going to help you feel young and vibrant, whether you're in your 40s, your 50s, or your 60s, that your body looks and feels and acts like it does in your 20s and 30s. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining me. I'm going to hop on and answer your questions. If you want to learn more about hormones, I do have a free Facebook group, and you're absolutely welcome to join. We have a class in there that actually walks you through every single essential oil and supplement that Young Living makes and how it can impact your hormones. This course is huge. It's so much more than what I can do coming in today. It's massive, and it's absolutely free to Young Living members, and I would love to have you. You can hop over to facebook.com/groups/Lucy Libido Says. And you just go to the pinned post. If you can't see it on a phone, on a mobile device, sometimes you can't see the pinned post. You can on a desktop computer. You'll see the pinned post. The class is linked in order there. If you don't see it on your phone, if you go on a phone, you can go to the search magnifying glass and just type in the word syllabus, and it'll pull up that post that says, here's our syllabus, which is our class, and every single lesson in that is posted in order to walk you through every oil and supplement to help you manage your hormones. Again, it's absolutely free. You're welcome to come on in, and I would love to have you join us in there if you'd like to come learn more about hormones. But thanks so much for having me, everyone. Go ahead and drop your questions below, and for the next 5-10 minutes, I'm going to go through and answer questions. And it was so lovely coming in. Have a good day, everyone.